noted that together, that there is exclusion. And some of the reasons for exclusion, I think we noted them together. It could be that the social system is not applicable to all. I think then there is lack of education. Not all people have access. Not all people are able to get access because of certain handicaps or other things. So not all people can have access to the social systems. And if you're not able, you miss out things we have mentioned here, education. But it can also be healthcare. It can be other social services which you miss if you don't have the right system. We also notice that there are prejudices and discrimination in society. And I think yesterday we talked about ethnicity. Yeah, there are groups who are just excluded from certain activities. But we also thought there are also personal factors. Yeah. Personal factors, it can be our background, it can be our religion, it can be our culture. Those aspects can assist or can contribute to a certain exclusion. And we discussed as well quite a long time, because it was mentioned in several cases, the aspect of self-exclusion. And that's at least something we noted together, Jan and myself. That's something which we also need to address in the future, because self-exclusion, it was mentioned in, well, it's quite a number of cases here. Yeah, in society, there are people who, and we don't know yet what might be all the reason. I think yesterday we were quite strong to say it's their own fault. But sometimes there is a history in psychiatry, psychology problems, other problems, which will lead to self-exclusion. And I think we discussed that point yesterday quite in a number of cases. So we said self-exclusion is something which happens. And if you want to overcome self-exclusion, you need to take quite a long path with that people. And it needs really sitting with the people. So these are cases which we saw when we were looking at society. In society, there are certainly we see exclusion. That was our general conclusion yesterday when we had the cases, what's happening in society. We also talked about exclusion in the church. Yeah, and I think we had a good discussion about that, and we said, we first noted, I think, we listened quite well, that the Methodist Church, that's how you feel it, how you look at it, is in a certain way excluded in society and by other churches. It's a small church, it's a minority group. Yeah, I think the main religion is the Orthodox Church, and we felt that you feel in a certain way excluded. That's how we notice it. That's a lesson. Yeah. But we also thought, and I think you came up with the thing that people can exclude themselves because of their sin. Yeah. I think it was very strongly the teaching in the Methodist Church is strict, I would say. Yeah? So if you, how do you say it correctly? Yeah, if people don't repent, if people keep on sinning, you exclude them, they exclude themselves more or less. Yeah, I think that's how we, because the aspect of sin was mentioned several times yesterday. You said sin is a reason. I think all the three cases started with the aspect of sin is a way to exclude yourself. And if people don't want to repent, of course, and I think especially you said about the boards, the elders, it's quite strongly. And we're all sinful, and therefore, and I think that was again, the third one is a kind of general statement. I think we're all fallen. After the fall in January 3, we are part of a sinful world. So there will be always some way of exclusion of ethnicity. And therefore it happens in the church as well. The church is not yet perfect. I think that was also a general conclusion. We are not yet perfect. We're still waiting to become perfect. But till that time, there will always come kind of exclusion in the church. But I think it was also very interesting to discuss together, yeah, that there is also inclusion. And yeah, for us, I think we noted it quite well that you were also very strong on inclusion. Because of your being as a small church. Yeah, we said we're a minority, so we much more feel connected to other marginalized groups because we are marginalized ourselves. And because of our marginalization, for us, it's easier to connect to others because we know how it feels. We know what it means to be small and marginalized. There is room for people with disability. Yeah, there is, I think, in the way we understood it yesterday, you don't have excluded certain groups. So your inclusion, everybody is welcome. Every person can be included. There might be some technical hiccups, some technical problems, yeah, but it's not in the nature of the church, of the Methodist Church, to exclude people. The nature of the church is to be very inclusive. And because I think what you said yesterday, which we noted, in our church culture, there is respect and love for others. And because of that respect, we can much easier, also become closer to people in the margin because we love them. Yeah. I think we also discussed, and I think that was also new for us, the church has a marginalized group. You have also a desire. I think we saw it in the conference which was held in March, a specific desire to reach out to communities in the margin. So you have that specific missional desire to reach out. I think the desire is to reach out to everybody. Yeah, so you're also in your missional approach, you are inclusive. But in the practice, yeah, and it has partly also to do with the feeling and the attitude within the church. You say, well, our main focus will be people in the margin, yeah, and the minority groups, for instance, yeah. And there is some kind of feeling, yeah, I think it's more difficult to reach out to other high-class educated groups in general. We don't say maybe not all the specific congregation, but in general, there is a feeling it's more difficult to reach out to higher educated people. We feel sometimes a little, we're also small, so we don't have all the capacities, all the capabilities to reach out to those other people. So let us focus on people we easily can focus, which are easily to reach. And there was also sometimes the choices I made in the past. We're also a result, our being here in 2025 is also a result of what happened in the past. And I don't know if we noted it correctly, but sometimes donors, they prefer to reach out to people in the margin, and say, oh, then as a church, you follow it. Maybe it's not your choice, but it's a choice which was made in history. So these are some of the things, and I think this part was for us also a learning point, that you want to become missional for everybody, but in practice, you're not always reaching everybody. We say, okay, because the nature of who we are, we reach out to more ethnic minority groups or other people in the margin. That's what we learned. Did we note it correctly? I think these are the three things we wrote down. So did we review what was said yesterday correctly, or say, right, Tim or Jan, this is completely different? Huh? We meant something else. Huh? Is this a good summary of what we did yesterday? Yeah? Well, this will be the basis to continue then for today, our today's program. And today we will start with a biblical review, with biblical, what does it mean? And then we go deeper into what it means to be present. Being present, I think that will be our main subject of today as a missional approach. Jan, I will give you the next slide then.